Large financial institutions have been on the verge of failure, and some have already done so. Families and businesses have found it more difficult to borrow money as a result of many banks restricting lending and their credit markets freezing. The federal government is taking prompt action in response to the severe financial crisis we are currently experiencing. Welcome to the Financial Flow. Please like and subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to stay up on our latest videos. BlackRock is run by Larry Fink, a wealthy businessman with lots of connections. These significant government contracts were given to BlackRock without any open competition and in complete secrecy in order to aid in the meltdown. Larry was essentially hired to oversee Washington's bailout of Wall Street, despite being one of the largest shareholders in the banks that were bailed out, making Larry the most influential person in the economy following the bailout. So, who did the Federal Reserve of the United States hire to run the corporate bond buying scheme? BlackRock made it, despite the fact that BlackRock owned some of the largest stakes in the very same corporations it was helping to save. Even though Larry is arguably one of the most powerful people in the post-pandemic economy and was the most influential person in the post-bailout economy, almost nobody in the public has ever heard of Larry. BlackRock hardly made an impression on the public when recent rumors that they were buying single-family homes surfaced. That is due to Larry's intelligence. He has purposely kept it the other way over the course of the last 33 years, as he transformed BlackRock into the largest asset manager in the world, with more than $9 trillion in assets under their control. Today, BlackRock's clients include pension funds, which serve as retirement accounts for average people, as well as sovereign wealth funds, college endowments, and other institutions. There are millions of individual investors and Fortune 500 companies. They are major shareholders in numerous large publicly traded companies, including Apple, Microsoft, Facebook, even additional significant banks. The 300 biggest pension funds in the world, to put their $9 trillion into perspective, only hold $6 trillion in total. Vanguard, the industry giant behind mutual funds and ETFs, is far behind BlackRock in terms of assets under management, with only $7.1 trillion. With only a few sporadic interviews, Larry Fink has accomplished this largely in secret. This is BlackRock, the biggest shadow bank in the world and perhaps the organization that controls the entire planet, according to some. The world. Is it owned by BlackRock? We'll have to investigate. Without a doubt, Larry is a successful man. BlackRock has some remarkable statistics. They were referred to as the world's most significant financial institution in 2010, and in 2014, they managed $4 trillion in assets, making them the largest asset manager in the entire world. Over the last 7 years, their assets have doubled to more than $9 trillion. Nowadays, it seems as though BlackRock is involved in almost everything. They hold a significant amount of stock in some of the largest publicly traded companies in the world. BlackRock is the first foreign asset manager to receive approval for the establishment of a mutual fund in China from the Chinese government, which happened in 2020. Additionally, they own stock in businesses operating throughout Europe in sectors like energy, oil, and gas. BlackRock practices what is known as circular ownership, whereby they hold shares in businesses that hold BlackRock shares. BlackRock has been dubbed the largest shadow bank in the world due to their astounding size, power, and the fact that they operate largely in secret. As a result, they are literally everywhere. What motivates someone to construct something this large is the question. We'll start with a brief overview of his past. Larry has a reputation for always wanting more than he could ever have. He was a political science major at UCLA, began his career on Wall Street at the age of 23. Later, having that political edge would be essential for him. Some of the top investment banks made offers to him, but he chose to start out in Boston, where he worked on structuring and trading bonds. He advanced quickly, and after contributing to the growth of the department securitization market, he was considered something of a legend on Wall Street, where loans such as mortgages, credit card debt, and auto loans would be bundled, divided, and sold to other investors. If this sounds familiar, it's because the 2008 financial crisis was caused by the same mortgage-backed securities. Prior to that, however, this debt securitization was regarded as incredibly innovative and changed the landscape of finance. Larry developed a reputation as a true investment genius thanks to his interest in policy. In addition to making a lot of money, Larry was well liked. He made history as Boston's youngest managing director at the age of just 31. Many even believed he would one day take over as company president. He contributed about $1 billion worth of additional assets to First Boston overall, but soon after, one of his biggest victories, the rising star collapsed. Larry's business suffered $100 million in loss. Trades and hedges intended to limit those losses were both wiped out as a result of a missed call on his hand. And overnight, Larry transformed from a valuable asset to be avoided at all costs. He was ejected from the company he spent 12 years working for and making roughly $1 billion for after his reputation took a beating and his co-workers refused to associate with him. While a disaster like this may spell the end for many, but for Larry, that wasn't the case. Instead, he turned it into a weapon, pledging never to again be in a predicament where he wasn't aware of the risks he was taking. He was 35 years old and determined to restart his career in 1988. Together with the future billionaire investor Stephen Schwarzman, Larry co-founded the Blackstone Group. They began with a credit line of $5 million, and by 1993, they were crushing it with $20 billion under management. However, Larry broke off to fund BlackRock after Fink and Schwarzman got into what some might refer to as a power struggle between the two of them. It went public in 1999 for $375 million. By 2004, it had merged with Merrill Lynch, increasing BlackRock's assets by $500 billion, bringing them to $9 trillion today. In 2008, the world experiences the world financial crisis since the Great Depression. Wall Street is in need of Washington's assistance. BlackRock received a call. The New York Fed personally visited Larry to assist with the management of toxic assets worth $30 billion. To help them manage the $100 billion worth of toxic assets, they hired BlackRock. They even hired BlackRock to manage the $301 billion in assets owned by the Citigroup, all of which were completed in secret, without even bidding. And in an instant, Larry was stronger than ever. They ultimately earned at least $200 million from these contracts. People began to talk about these contracts due to their enormous size, the secrecy surrounding them, and BlackRock's enormous influence. When COVID occurred in March 2020, BlackRock once more saved the day for both Wall Street and the government. They were employed by the Federal Reserve to assist in the bailout of businesses that had too much debt or required borrowing to survive. On top of that, they assisted the Fed in purchasing additional mortgage-backed securities. What direction will BlackRock take going forward? When a man has everything, what does he do? People in 2019 filed petitions to have BlackRock removed from the list of top oil and co-production shareholders. In fact, over the years, investing in sectors with high levels of pollution has essentially formed the core of BlackRock's portfolio. You see, so many corporations trying to appear progressive these days, and a big reason for that is the recent push for sustainable investing. The one humiliating setback Larry endured after losing $100 million served as the primary impetus for his success. That is largely responsible for BlackRock's current success. Most people concur that he still has the same level of drive today as when he first invested his entire being in the business. If there is a modern American oligarchy, Larry would unquestionably be a member of it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Have a good one.